Welcome back to Only Talk Sports, and today we have the ACC preview in football in 2022. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Now, the ACC is going to be very interesting this year because of the fact last year was the first time that Clemson did not win the ACC since 2014. They've won the league from 2015 to 2020, and they dropped the ball last year and finished 10-3. And Pittsburgh, the surprising Pittsburgh Panthers, won the league with Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison. Will Clemson be able to rebound this year and win the ACC? It's going to be very interesting, but I got a breakdown of every team, and we're going to see how each team, in my opinion, they're going to do, how these teams are going to do. We're going to see, in my opinion, how they finish from first in the conference to last in the conference. Now I got Clemson returning at 10-2. I got them rebounding this year. I think Dabo Swinney. He's not going to have Clemson have another down year. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great coach. DJ Uyunglele, he's either going to have a bounce back year at quarterback, or they're going to go with the freshman Cade Klubnik at quarterback. And they also have Will Shipley at running back, and he's a great running back. I think they're going to go 10-2 with losses at Notre Dame and South Carolina. I think South Carolina's going to upset them. They might lose another game in the ACC, but I just picked South Carolina for as their other loss. I think they're going to go 10-2, and I do think that they're more than likely going to be the favorite to win the ACC this year. I got Boston College going 6-6. Jeff Hafley, he's done a pretty good job. Boston College is a tough place to win at. They haven't been elite since the Matt Ryan days, but they're trying to get back, and I think 6-6 is obtainable. They got the quarterback Phil Dracovic. He's a pretty good quarterback, but he was hurt some last year. But when he's healthy, he's really good. And Zay Flowers at wide receiver, he's a really good wide receiver. A lot of teams wanted him to leave Boston College and go in the portal, and using the NIL, and that he didn't leave, so that was good for Boston College. But I got losses for them at Virginia Tech, at Florida State, Clemson, at Wake Forest, NC State, and at Notre Dame. Next, we got Florida State. I think I have them going 7-5. Mike Norvell, he's got to win this year. I think 7-5 might be enough to keep him off the hot seat because he's in danger, of getting fired. Because Florida State, they didn't give Willie Taggart any time at all, and they got rid of him. And Jimbo Fisher left for Texas A&M because they gave him a lot of money, but he was starting to struggle at Florida State, and he wanted to get out of there while he could. Florida State, you have to win there. Jordan Travis at quarterback, he's pretty good, but it's going to be very interesting to see if Florida State can have a bounce back year. I think 7-5 is attainable. I have them losing to LSU on a neutral site. A loss to NC State, a loss to Clemson, a loss to Miami, and a loss to Florida. And NC State's on the road and Miami's on the road. That's going to be very interesting, though, because I think Florida State's talent can win more games than 7, but they could also lose more than 7 games. So it's going to be very interesting. Louisville 6-6. Scott Satterfield, their head coach, he's another coach that's on the hot seat. He's got to win, or they're going to get rid of him. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does. Malik Cunningham at quarterback. I like Malik Cunningham. I think he's really good. He kind of reminds me of Lamar Jackson, who used to be at Louisville a few years ago. The way that he runs and he passes, he had like 20 passing touchdowns, 20 rushing touchdowns last year. And he's really good, but their defense is not good. And I have them losing at Clemson, losing at Kentucky, losing NC State, losing at Boston College, losing at Virginia. And the reason why I have them losing at Virginia is because Virginia's offense is really good, and I don't think Louisville's defense is going to be able to stop. Because I remember when they played UCF last year when Dylan Gabriel, before he got hurt, and Louisville, man, that game was a barn burner. The score went way up, and they can't stop people. So we'll see what happens. But I have them losing that game and losing to Pittsburgh. NC State, this is the one that's got everybody going crazy. NC State hasn't been good in many years. And NC State, I have them going 10-2 because Devin Leary, he's playing really well. NC State's got a pretty good defense. Dave Doran's done a good job. 10-2 is a reach, though, I will say, because they usually do go 8-4, and they usually have a pretty soft schedule. But I have them losing at Clemson and losing at UNC. I think NC State can go 10-2. Now they might do worse than this, but this is my pick to do better than expected or normally of what most teams usually do. Because NC State usually 7-5, 8-4. I think they're gonna maybe go 10-2 this time. It's gonna be very interesting to see. I got Syracuse going 3-9. Syracuse with losses to Louisville. I have them losing also to NC State, at Clemson, Notre Dame, at Pitt, Florida State, at Boston College, and at Wake Forest. I have them losing all those teams. I have them losing either to Purdue or Virginia. I couldn't figure it out. And I don't think they're going to go 2-10. They might do better than 3-9, but it's going to be really hard because they do have a decent quarterback like Garrett Schrader and a pretty good running back, Sean Tucker. Dino Babers, though, I think if he does go 3-9, if this is accurate and they do go 3-9, he's unfortunately probably going to be fired. I hope he doesn't get fired, but he hasn't had a great season since they went 10-2 many years ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I got Wake Forest going 7-5. Dave Clawson, the head coach, he does more with less. They always do really well, even though they don't have the greatest talent on the team. But Sam Hartman's the biggest reason why that they do well. And Sam Hartman, unfortunately for him, he's kind of out of commission right now. He's not going to be available because he's out injured. So if he ain't able to play, then it's going to be very tough for Wake Forest to do really well, because I would have thought they'd done better, but I'm going 7-5 now without Sam Hartman. Losses to Clemson, losses at Florida State, losses at Louisville, loss at NC State, and a loss to UNC. Maybe they'll do better because Wake Forest has been surprising lately, but without Sam Hartman, if he don't return, then I just don't see it. Unfortunately, for our next team, Duke, I got them going 2-10. 3-9. I mean, Mike Elko, their head coach. He's in his first year since their last coach, David Cutcliffe. He basically retired or whatever. I have them losing every single conference game and losing at Northwestern and winning their other 3 non-conference games. But Duke's just not there ever since the quarterback that's now with the New York Giants. Daniel Jones, they haven't been good since that season. So I think it's going to be another long year for Duke. Hopefully Mike Elko can get it done in his first year and do better. Georgia Tech, I got Jeff Collins. This is another coach that's probably, if he doesn't have a good year, he's going to be fired. They got a good quarterback in Jeff Sims, but unfortunately lost Jahmyr Gibbs to Alabama. Jahmyr Gibbs was a great running back, and he entered the transfer portal, and Alabama swooped him up. Georgia Tech, I got going 2-10. Their non-conference schedule is obviously hard because they have to play Georgia every year, and I got them beating Duke, but that's it. Miami 8-4. Now this one's crazy because you got Mario Cristobal and Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback. Mario Cristobal, the new coach, Mario Cristobal coming from Oregon. He stacked this team with transfers, and he's got a great recruiting class coming in. The NIL is really helping out Miami. Tyler Van Dyke was really good last year as a freshman. I think he's going to have an even better sophomore season. But I still think they're going to go 8-4 because I think it's going to be tough for them in his first season to get it all together. I think in year 2 they're going to be even better. I have them losing at Texas A&M, at Clemson, losses to Pitt and NC State. They're still going to have a great season though, however. UNC, I got UNC going 8-4. Mac Brown, he's done pretty good at North Carolina, but with the recruiting classes that he's had, they need to do better. He's lost Sam Howell, obviously, to the NFL. He's got Drake May just announced as a starting quarterback. I got them going 8-4 with losses to Notre Dame, loss at Miami, a loss to NC State, and a loss at Virginia. I got Pitt at 8-4 as well. Pat Narduzzi, he's basically like the Kirk Ferentz of the ACC. Kirk Ferentz, coach at Iowa, he's always going 8-4, and Pitt's always going 8-4 too. But they were a little bit better last year with Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison winning the ACC last year, but I do think they're going to take a step back. Keaton Slovis is a good option at quarterback coming in from USC, but without Jordan Addison, I just don't think their offense is going to be as explosive. So I think they're going to lose a few more games. I got them going 8-4, losing to Tennessee because Tennessee's improved. Lost at UNC and Virginia Tech, and a loss to Miami. I got Virginia going 7-5, loss at Virginia Tech, loss against Pitt, loss against Miami, loss at Syracuse, and loss at Illinois. I've got them having a pretty decent year in Tony Elliott's first year as head coach, coming in from Clemson, offensive coordinator. Brennan Armstrong is a great quarterback. He is a gunslinger, but again, like with Louisville, their defense just is not very good, but I think their offense is going to be elite. And then lastly, Virginia Tech, I got going 7-5 as well. Brent Pry's first year, Grant Wells coming in from Marshall at quarterback. They're going to be a pretty decent team because Virginia Tech has talent, but their last coach, Justin Fuente, which is why unfortunately he got fired because he was just underperforming. They had better talent than what they were putting out on the field, and their schedule's not too bad. I got them losing at Liberty, at NC State, lost to Miami, lost at UNC, and a loss to West Virginia. But that's the way I see the ACC shaking out. I think that a lot of the ACC teams are going to have great seasons. Unfortunately for Duke, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse, they're going to be the bottom dwellers again. And I think Clemson's going to win the ACC over NC State. I think that NC State's going to have a great season, but Clemson's just going to do one game better because they're going to have only the losses to Notre Dame and South Carolina and none in ACC play, where NC State's going to lose to Clemson and UNC. So I got Clemson winning the ACC narrowly, but I have them winning the ACC this year. Let me know what you guys think down below, who's going to win the ACC, and if you feel that my picks are correct on these records, and if you think that if I got any wrong, let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Like this video, and I hope you have a good one.